All right. So there's guys out there who don't focus on the CS fundamentals when they're trying to get a computer science job. They decide, oh, I don't need a degree. I'm going to go to self-taught route. And even when they're doing self-taught things, they're not focused and they don't get anywhere. Whereas there's other guys out there who work hard, who focus on the basic, tried and tested methods to get a CS job, and they get a job in no time. I'm going to talk about the difference here specifically. I'll talk about, is the computer science degree worth it? Spoiler alert, I did a degree program, right? But in this video, I do hope to give the most honest advice that I can give to help you make the right decision for yourself. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly, I had just started my degree program. I was 8 months into it. I had my laptop open and I've just built like some very basic front-end projects, right? And I start throwing my resume out and I get a phone call. There's a company, local company, a few minutes away from my home who wants to interview me. I go to the office, sit down, they interview me. I come back home. I get a phone, I get an email. And the email, they send me a job offer, right? Now, what's the point that I'm making with this story? The point I'm making is that it is 150,000% possible to get hired without a degree. Look, that company knew that I was only 8 months into my program. And how much do you really learn in 8 months? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. And they gave me a full-time job offer, right? So 100% if you build projects, if you follow all the basic advice, I've talked about that 150,000 times in this channel about like building projects, getting interview ready, etc. If you follow that advice, I'm confident you can get hired without a degree. Part of the issue here is these people will say, oh, a CS degree is the only way, bro. If you don't get a CS degree, that's pathetic, bro. Bootcamp people will never make it, bro. Like, no, take that thought, throw out the window. We don't listen to those people. Again, these people put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. If you follow the basics, you build projects, you get interview ready, I'm confident that you can get hired without doing a CS degree, right? Now, the next thing I remember is when I started my CS degree program, I just wanted to get into cybersecurity. That was like my goal, right? My main thing. And I have my laptop open over here, right? And I come across an internship opportunity at the government of Canada. Canada is where I live. And this opportunity was at like the heart of the government cybersecurity operations. So I apply, I get a phone call, and soon I get a job offer, right? And I would have been ineligible for this opportunity had I not been enrolled in a CS program because this was an internship, right? Now, what's the point I'm trying to make here? Look, cybersecurity is one of those fields which is really hard to get into at an entry level, right? Usually people want experience, but I was able to get an entry level cybersecurity opportunity thanks to my degree program, and I was able to leverage this experience into a 6-figure job offer that I had on the table before I even graduated university, right? So there are immense benefits to a degree program that are often not stated or understated, right? Things like internships. You may get an opportunity similar to me, or you may get an internship at like a big tech company, a Google, a Facebook, Amazon. And once you have that on your resume, that company may hire you as soon as you get out of university. So you have a 6-figure job offer waiting for you as soon as you graduate. Or even if they don't hire you, other companies want to snap you up because you have this experience, right? And in a degree, you'll be surrounded by like-minded people who you can ask questions to, right? If you don't understand a concept, just reach out to them. Hey, man, can you help me out with this? You have a teacher who has a PhD in this shit, who you can walk up to and ask questions to, right? And some of these people around you will become your lifelong friends. Some of these people will get into companies you want to work at. They'll be able to refer you, right? And again, being around kind of that energy will keep you motivated, right? Not to mention, a degree is a valid, useful, respected piece of paper, assuming you get it from an accredited institution, right? These bootcamp credentials and Coursera certificates, they don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. They're useless. No one cares, right? A degree still holds value, right? I understand it's a big time and money commitment, so that's why I preface this by saying you can 100% get hired without a degree. So if you don't have the time and money for it, fair enough. But if you have the time and money for it, 100%, there are major benefits you'll get from a degree program. Part of the issue here is these people will say, oh, a degree is just free debt, bro. A degree is only worth it if you get it from Harvard, bro. Like, no, take that thought, throw it out the window. We don't listen to those people. These people put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. I did my degree from a university that was formerly a community college, right? So they don't have like the strictest requirements to get in or anything like this. They're fairly easy to get into as far as their CS program goes. And despite that, I've been just fine and I've been able to benefit greatly from their CS degree. Now, the next thing I remember is I was at one of my work experiences, right? And I have my laptop open and I'm on a Microsoft Meet with one of my coworkers. And they're talking to me and they're like, oh, yeah, so this application involves NetSockets and this networking and that networking. And I'm sitting there like, oh, yeah, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. But everything just went in one ear, out the other. I didn't understand a damn word of anything my coworker said. Right? Now, what's the point I'm trying to make here? This comes back to the CS fundamentals, right? So when you get into the degree program, or if you decide to go to the degree route, make sure you absorb the information. It is important. When I was doing my degree program, I was like, oh, I just need the piece of paper. I need the piece of paper. So I would like try to cruise through courses, just cramming and stuff. And I didn't remember like any of the information I learned, right? So if you don't go the degree route, or if you go the degree route and you don't pay attention, you're going to be learning these fundamentals on your own time or on the job, right? Whereas if you do the degree, you focus, you'll have these fundamentals and you'll be able to hit the ground running. That's another major benefit of a degree. So the long and short of it is, I 110% believe a CS degree is worth it, right? It basically changed my life to where I went from working a job that I hated, decided to take a chance on the CS thing. And as soon as in fact, even before I graduated, I had a 6-figure job offer on the table, right? That's more money than I'd ever made before from any of my work experiences, anything like this, right? So for me, a CS degree was 100% worth it. But again, if you don't have the time and money to invest in it, don't be discouraged, right? You can still get hired without a degree. And I think it also depends on how much of a risk appetite you have. If I'm 18 again and I'm coming out of high school, right? And I have to choose between doing a CS degree or being self-taught, I might even go the self-taught route. Truly. Because at that time I was living with my parents, everything was paid for. So I would have rather just gone the self-taught route, focused for like 8 to 12 months, built projects, started applying, and then getting hired and learning the rest on the job, right? That way I would have been able to get paid much quicker. But at that time I could afford to learn on the job. Again, my life was relatively stress-free. And even if the CS, my self-taught route didn't pay off, let's say I tried for a year, 2 years, it didn't pay off, I could have gone for my degree at 20 and I'm still relatively young, right? So when I was younger, I had a higher risk appetite. Now, as I've gotten older, I started the CS degree when I was like 23. I had a lower risk appetite, and that risk appetite seems to get lower and lower as I get older and older. So if you have a very high risk appetite, then I think going the self-taught route is fine. But in all other cases, I highly recommend a CS degree. And again, I 150,000% believe it's worth it. Now, I just want to end this video off by saying, hey, be kind to yourself throughout this process. This is not an easy journey whatsoever, right? My experience or my background was I was coming from a criminology background. I just finished my criminology degree, and that was like December 2019. And I was like, okay, I don't want to become a police officer, so what am I going to do, right? And then CS seemed interesting, so I went into CS. And I didn't have like any sort of analytical background. I had a horrific academic track record where I failed multiple high school courses, didn't graduate high school on time. I failed a college course, was a super average college student. And when I got into CS, I had like major imposter syndrome where I was like, oh, am I smart enough to do this? Will I be able to do this? CS is like the smart people career, smart people degree, right? And when I started my degree, I remember just being lost and wanting to like throw all my books against the wall, bang my head against the wall. Like I didn't understand a single word of these books, right? And again, I didn't have any sort of analytical background. So for the math courses I was taking, I had to start learning math literally from the elementary school level. I, supplemented with YouTube lectures, started learning math from the elementary school level. Did that, and then, once I built my foundation up, got back to doing my CS courses, right? And throughout my whole degree program, I'm telling you, so many times, I was like, oh, am I smart enough to do this? Will I be able to do this? Is this even going to work out? Oh, I don't know. And there's so much doubt and so much imposter syndrome. And even once I was on the job, right, it persisted. because again, I don't have that analytical background. I don't have anything like this, right? So I want to save you from that headache and let you know, hey, I don't care what anyone says, because people, I've talked about this many times, and sometimes people will disagree. Frankly, I'm confident in this opinion, and I hold it with 100% confidence, and I 100% believe in it, because I've literally walked that path. Because if you saw my background and you told people, I'm going to get into CS, literally when I was telling people I'm going to get into CS, like no one believed I would be able to do it, right? It's not like people weren't supportive, but given my horrific track record, no one thought I would actually follow through with it or would be able to accomplish it, right? So anyway, the statement that I believe in 150,000%, if you're willing to do the hard work, willing to put in the effort day in, day out, day in, day out, you'll be successful, and you will get a job in this field, and you will make it, right? It's just, it, it takes a while. Of course it does, right? And that's where people get demotivated, and they hop off the train, right? They don't keep working. I started the CS degree stuff in December of 2019. I got my six-figure job offer August of 2021. But in between that mid period, it was like the most I made was a little above minimum wage, right? And that was it. So the main thing is just staying on that train, even when you don't see the results right away. You don't see the tangible results right away. Keep on with it. Stick with it. And I'm confident that you'll be successful, right? I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. I just want you to imagine for a second. Imagine you take this advice, you run with it, and now your money is growing day by day by day. You've got enough money to support your family, right? You got enough money to like go out on dates, go out, have fun, buy new things, or whatever it is that you wanted to buy, right? Like I wanted to buy a new car. I always had like a really crappy old car that would shake after I drove it like more than 80 kilometers an hour. And I was able to buy a new car. I was able to give some money to my family, and also when I'm going out on dates, go out with friends, didn't have to borrow that money from my parents anymore, right? Maybe you really want to move out. So imagine you got the money now where you can confidently move out, right? Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Keep working hard. Again, I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok in the description, also somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.